Yes, you can have a sequence that has negative numbers in it. All right, in this one, we have a graph of two sequences. It may be a little hard to see here, but you may see these little triangles. See the little triangles? Starting at when the term number is 0, -1 is a little triangle. Y'all see that? It's kind of hard to see. Then it goes to 2, then it goes to 5, then it goes to 8, so on and so forth. Y'all with me? And then we got this other one that's got the dots. What's the value of that term? 0.5 or 1/2, right? And then this one's 1 and 2 and 4 and 8 and 16. You with me? Sequence A is the little triangles. Starts at -1 and then goes to 2. So I'm going to write that out a little bit, all right? -1 and then 2. What's the next value? What's the next value? -1, 2, 5, right? And then, 8, and then, what's happening here? So if we're going to describe a way to produce a new term from the previous term, what would you say?
Plus 3.
Add 3 to each term, or to the previous term, to get a new term, right? Let's look at sequence B. It started out at what value? You said 0.5, correct?
Yes.
What's the next one? And the next one? And the next one? And the next one? What's happening each time? So if you were going to describe a way to produce a new term from the previous term, what would you say? Multiply the previous term by 2, right? Those aren't bad, are they? So now we get the fun part. We get to write the equation for the nth term of both sequences. The first one is what kind of sequence? What kind is it?
Arithmetic.
The first one's an arithmetic. So let's call it A. See, it's sequence A, right? So A of, are we starting with A of n equal, is n equal 1 or 0? Where we starting?
N equals 0.
All right, so we're going to start with A of 0, and that's equal to -1. And then we need a rule that says A of n equals, now remember, this is a general term. How much are we adding each time?
3.
So we're going to do -1, our initial term, our first term, plus 3 times, what do we put when we start with n equals 0?
Hey, I don't know what you're talking about.
What are we going to do with this 3?
Subtract 1.
No.
Wait, you just asked what do we put before the n minus 1?
Multiply times n, right? If we had been starting with n equals 1, we would have multiplied by n minus 1. But when you start, all right, here's the deal. For an arithmetic sequence, right, the nth term, when we start with n equals 0, is A of n equals A of 0, your first term, plus your common difference times n. If you start with n equals 1, it's A of n equals, your first term now is A of 1 because we start with n equals 1, plus your common difference times n minus 1. That's the difference. Okay? This one started with 0. That's why we used this rule. That's for A. Now let's do the nth term for the geometric sequence B. It's geometric Y. All right, and so we're starting with n equals 0 or n equals 1?
1. Oh, 0, sorry.
Starting with 0. So we have, let's call this one b of 0. What's b of 0 equal? 0.5. And remember our rules for a geometric sequence. The nth term. If we start with n equals 0, then the rule is your a of n equals a of 0, your first term, times your common ratio raised to the n power. If we start with n equals 1, then it's a of n equals your first term, a of 1, times your common ratio raised to the n minus 1. So we started with 0 for n. We have b of 0, the first term equals 0.5. So what's the rule for b of n going to look like? B of 0 is what? Look up here. We already wrote it down. B of 0 is 0.5. So we're going to put that here. That took this place. Times 2 raised to the nth power. That's how we do number 4. This is the first term.
Nth isn't even real. It makes me so mad.
In Israel.
No, nth is not real.
What?
Nth is not real. It's not a real word. Why is it even used?
It is a real word in math. It's the word that means if you pick any number n, it's the nth term.
Whoever created math, I'm burning my house.
That's not a good thing to threaten.
It's not for real. He's probably,
You're on recording.
oh my gosh. I'm lying. I'm never gonna.
Okay, Susie Smith, enough of that, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Listen,
He's probably dead by then anyway.
we're in another 7-minute video. We're going to stop.